A done deal on August 28th. Who wants to tell me what that was? Mentioned already, yes. Amazon purchased Whole Foods, and oh boy, everywhere you went, it was the topic of conversation, whether you were in the industry or not. But because you are, I am sure everyone wanted your opinion of what this meant to the future of grocery shopping in America. Like the Cubs win for some, and many the election, the effect of the Amazon deal is still felt as the dialogue continues. Excuse me, allergies. People from every walk of life have been debating the long-term implication. Market analysts have called this the turning point for disruption in the grocery industry and a historic bellwether for retail overall. And it has been very interesting. Not only did it become a main topic of conversation in our industry, but the media went crazy. Disruption had arrived and it was being hurled in by the news media. Shoppers reacted to the news, and it was reported that Whole Foods traffic that first week increased by upwards of 25%. Whole Foods had immediately lowered some prices, and the initial reaction made many believe the retail world of food would never be the same. Now, depending on your vantage point, this belief can either be terrifying or exhilarating. Let's first explore the terrifying. This marriage has certainly accelerated the pace of change in our industry. The importance of technology we all had begun to address has been amplified and is no longer an if, but a must. Why? Because it is now crystal clear that the only constants in our industry are enhanced consumer expectations and change. That's it, simple, right? So let's think about it. People need groceries, they need household goods, they need their daily bread, right? And everything else that goes on the table with it. And how they obtain these, and the experience that they want in doing so, and the social satisfactions they are seeking are changing. But in reality, this is not a new phenomenon. It has existed since the first exchange of goods. Consumers have always wanted newer, better, faster. And if this were not true, we'd all still be doing business like cavemen. Today, empowered by technology and new distribution channels, the hyper-connected consumer is continuing to redefine value. Customers want customization and services and conveniences. And these drivers are now outpacing the traditional measure of price. And since now more than ever, time is money, the value equation is shifting. From this terrifying perspective, boundaries between traditional and non-traditional have become blurred beyond recognition. The unprecedented growth of food venues, along with the continuously burgeoning online options, is resulting in a consumer lacking any real brand or channel loyalty. As options increase, loyalty becomes tenuous, and the balance of power has shifted more to the consumer. By 2025, economists forecast that $100 billion in grocery sales are going online in the US, with the majority of this cannibalization being in center store. This is the equivalent of 4,000 physical stores. How startling is that, given Amazon only opened its doors, so to speak, in 1994, just a little over 20 years ago. Scary? Are these the signals of change that are destined to become the new rule, not the exception? How will they play out over time, and what will we see in store? So, ladies and gentlemen, I say it is up to us. We get to design the blueprint. And this is exactly why my team and I find the current state of our industry exhilarating and a time of opportunity beyond measure. Let's put it in perspective. Think about the disruption we saw in the movie industry a few years back. When Netflix and its streaming movie platform began to gain traction, many experts proclaimed the beginning of the end for movie theaters. Fast forward a few years, and theaters are still thriving. Why? Because of two things. We like going out and experiencing things and social interaction with others. And number two, some really smart business people redefined the theater experience. And now, going to the movies is such a special thing that my husband and I have to reserve our tickets and our seats. But let me tell you, those leather loungers are fantastic and certainly enhanced our movie-going theater experience. But let's shift this back to our industry. While online grocery ordering and home delivery grow in popularity, there is documented research confirming that consumers still crave physical shopping experience. In a recently published Fortune magazine poll, 75% of shoppers, online shoppers, said they rarely or never buy food online. Providing for a household is an expression of love, care, and nurturance for oneself and others, according to the research done by the Hartman Group. They go on to state, shopping for groceries is something much more than a chore. It's an expression of love. This need for human interaction opens the door for carefully planned and other unfathomed opportunities. And they actually force you to step up and ask yourself, what can you do? And the pressure to answer this question can be immense. And I guarantee it, no matter the industry you're in, it's not easy. And it's not going to be easy. And it will continue to take a great deal of hard work from every level of your organization. Back to the Amazon announcement. By show of hands, how many of you expected it? Me neither, right? I can't say I called that one. But guess what? All of us in this room, we expected some kind of disruptive event like this. And most of us have been planning in one way or another for a disruptive event. Now, another show of hands. How many people in this room bought something online this week? How many people this morning? And I hope nobody during my speech, okay? Cut me a break. Okay, how much of your holiday shopping is going to be online this year? 10%? 20%, 50%, I'll tell you mine, in excess of 90%, but not my food. But many others will be ordering food online. Do you remember the first time you bought a book on Amazon? How incredible it felt when the artificial intelligence behind the transaction suggested another book you might like. It was almost supernatural, scary, right? But Amazon quickly became the go-to bookstore, and this evolved into digital. How easy it is today to download a book as soon as you read a great review on it. And then after bookstores, the online shopping moved to electronics and toys, two industries that didn't plan well enough ahead and have been largely swallowed up by e-commerce. Soon after, we began to see the migration of major commodities to online shopping. In our industry, we've seen a shift in many hard good categories. Paper towels, cases of water, laundry detergent, there's diaper clubs, shave clubs, etc. But still, many of us doubted that the American consumer would ever let someone select their perishable products. But let's not be fooled. Not only have consumers' behaviors changed, but they're continuing to change rapidly, and they're centered on immediate gratification. Click and smile, click and relax, click and the world is good. It's so easy now. And if you have brands that consumers trust, you can continue to take them into this new reality. I've seen it in my own company. We now deliver perishables directly to our consumers' homes in as little as an hour. Restaurants primed our consumers for this move. Ease and convenience are a must, and with online delivery and service is a key thing with superior quality, a no-brainer. In our company, a personal shopper hand selects their items, and many times this shopper will text a picture making sure the customers they're choosing the right item for the customer. I know I always put ripe bananas, and they'll text me a picture. Are these ripe enough? So you know you're getting that personalized service. And it's been really well received, and it's growing the bottom line, but it is not, and it will never be a replacement for our core in-store business. Our value proposition is gourmet convenience, and we work hard to deliver on this promise both online and in-store, meeting our customers where they are. So what else supports this belief that brick and mortar will not only survive and thrive? It was mentioned already. Think about it. Jeff Bezos stated he wanted to be the #1 food retailer in the world, and he spent years trying to solve Amazon Fresh. It started way back in 2007 in Seattle, where the company delivered fresh grocery products to the customer. They planned a huge expansion of their services backed with all of their technology, and it's limping along. You recently saw news of the geographies where they were shutting down this service. Why? Because the last mile costs are insurmountable. And now they purchased Whole Foods and paid over $13 billion for it. Why? Because even Amazon realized the need for brick and mortar and how it is essential to their mission and success. For us, there is ultimately no such thing as pure e-play commerce. Most successful e-tailers eventually open physical stores, and Amazon is the latest. And then on the opposite sides of the spectrum, our globe's largest physical retailer, Walmart, bought upstart Jet to supercharge their e-commerce delivery system. But again, not to replace their retail. And given this PLMA meeting that we're all getting ready to enjoy and head out to do, I know I'm not telling anybody in the room something you don't already know. The future of private label is not going to be just about 365 because it's available online. We are not in a one-size-fit-all economy, and it is never going to replace all of the other private label brands that drive business and have the trust of the consumer. If that was the case, we would all be driving the same brand car. As I look out over this audience and see many industry greats who have built their private label brands and who have done so much to make customers desire it, I know you have made consumers, the American consumers, proud, and they're proud of their choice, and they wear your brand like a badge of honor. It's something they seek. Private label growth opportunities where we stand now, ladies and gentlemen, in this current environment are immense. But you have to know, to take advantage of this immense opportunity, what are your true differentiations to do so? What do your customers value from you when they think about your brand or your product? So I'm just going to use my company as an example and not as an advertisement. I'm not up here to do an advertisement. But at Kings and Balducci, our small format is perfectly positioned to win as we focus on our #1 differentiator, and that's the experience of food. We know that the experience of food, when done right, employs all 5 senses, all 5 of our senses, right? We see the golden hue of the fresh baked baguette. We smell the earthiness of the locally grown jacketed cauliflower. We hear the crisp sound of a husk being torn from an ear of corn. We touch the firmness of a generously marbled steak and taste the creamy richness of the truffle cheese. Well, you see how I am, right? I'm sure you get it. This love and passion for food drives the experience differentiator of our business. But just having differentiation is not enough. Today's consumers want clear and closer connections to their food and depend on all of us to help them cut through the noise with practical information. They want to understand how their food is grown and raised, how it's harvested, how it's packaged, and how it gets onto the shelves, and how it benefits the underserved in society. In this information, where information moves fast, transparency is emerging as a fundamental consumer demand. Consumers' expectations of retailers and manufacturers' openness are growing. The Hartman's Group 2017 U.S. Grocery Shopper Trends Report provides us with a clear analysis of the transparency dimensions currently driving shoppers' trust and loyalty. Our shoppers, all of our shoppers, want easy access to relevant information. They want clear quality standards, proactivity and accountability, and business practice openness, making company values visible and supporting communities. Those of us prepared to inform, reveal, and connect with shoppers in support of safety, health, and ethics are well positioned to build further this trust and loyalty. This report definitively states that shoppers are more likely to purchase products from a company they believe is open and honest and shares their values. Given that grocery stores still receive the high score of over 80% when it comes to the place Americans buy groceries, we have the privileged opportunity to deepen engagement with customers and also to bridge the gap between consumers and manufacturers. Many of you in the room have heard my story and know that I'm the daughter of an Acme truck driver who, through his connections with the local store manager, was able to get me a job working there when I was